Alright guys, welcome back. We will be working on episode 2 of our survival series. We just left off with setting up our character and having a functioning main menu. Well, not exactly functioning, but that's where we're going to touch off today, is we're going to give it some functionality and then maybe get into a little bit of the player HUD, maybe our stats, attributes, stuff like that. So let's get into that. So in order to have this main menu functional, or this pause menu, we are going to need a main menu. So I'm going to go ahead, well, I've already gone ahead and started my main menu. So here's my main menu. Not much here. I did the same thing I did last time. I created a game load and I put everything under my game load. So I want you guys to go ahead and do that. And yeah, so I have my camera, my light. I have a world that I built, but that's not important right now because that's just simply the background to my main menu. So in order to get this going, we are going to create, so I have some stuff that I had in my game load that don't really matter anymore. We'll get into those in a minute. So we're going to create an empty here, or sorry, not an empty, we're going to create a canvas. So just assuming that you have your light and your camera, basically. You know, forget the world, forget the stuff in my game load. So we're going to create a canvas. And we're going to call this our main menu HUD. Or sorry, main menu UI. And we're going to do the same thing where we scale with screen size. 1920 by 1080. And then create a panel in there. And this will be our main menu HUD. Okay. Make sure that's on stretch. And we're going to create an image. And this will be called our menu. If you want it in the center, keep it centered. If you want it on the right side, anchor it to the right. For now, I'm going to keep mine centered. And mine's going to be more at the bottom, so I'm going to anchor mine to the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and find an image for that, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I have my image here that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to create an empty within the menu, call this new game, and the new game is going to have a button. I'm going to drag and drop it under new game, center it out, and scale it up. And this is going to be our button new. So it's going to be for a new game. Let me go ahead and change this picture to some kind of button. That works for me. And we're going to make it so we can actually read it. Get my new font. And we're going to write new game. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the new game here. And I'm going to call this one continue game. And this is going to determine whether or not we have a new save or loaded save, or however I just said that. So this is going to be our button load. And then that is going to say load game or continue. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that button here, and we're going to bring it down about here. Okay. And I'm going to call that button delete. And delete. Save. Alright. So, we have a new game and we have a continue game. Now earlier, under my game load, I had some triggers written in here. And this all corresponds with the new and continue game. So, right off the bat, we're going to set our time scale to 1. Because, say if you were in-game, your game scene, and you paused your game and clicked the menu, it might, sometimes through glitches, might still be on pause. So, to be safe, we're going to set that to true, or to 1. So, set time scale to 1. And on start, we are going to set active. So, I did have a loading screen, a fake loading screen. We're going to create another one. So under our UI, we will create a UI image. We're going to call it load screen. We're going to make it black. And we're going to make it as big as our canvas. Create a text in there. Make that big too. We're going to center it out. Add your custom font if you want. We're going to write in loading. Now, this load screen is going to be off by default, but we are going to add a trigger to it. Trigger on enable. We're going to wait 2 seconds, and then set active self to false. Okay. So now on our game load, right off the start, we will unpause our game, we will set our load screen to true, and we're going to run some conditions. And we're going to add our conditions right underneath, and it is going to be, I'll just get rid of this, it started again. So, brand new conditions, we're going to add a branch. So if you have a save game, then we will set active our continue game to true and our new game to false. Add branch. If you do not have a save game, then we will set active new game to true, continue game to false. Nice and easy to determine whether you have a save or game or not. And that's pretty much it for that. Now, I am also going to, well, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, make it a little more organized here. Completely optional. So I'm going to slide one up here, and one here. I'm going to put the UI above the camera, bring the camera down. This light is going to go in the world. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now it's time to turn my world on. So for the background of my main menu, there we go. And then let's give our buttons some functionality here. So for my new game, we are going to set active the loading screen to true. We are going to, so we're going to load scene, and then we're going to put our game scene in there. So make sure you have all that ready to go in your build settings, otherwise it won't work. So we're going to load screen to true, load scene. Alright. Then our continue game, button load. We are going to set active our loading screen to true, and then we are going to load game. Okay. Button delete. We are going to delete game, set active load screen. We are going to wait, say 0.5 seconds. And then we're going to load scene of our main menu again. Let it reload. So I did that 0.5 just to be safe, to give it time to actually delete. So that should all work now. So don't think I have a save. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. And it should be new game. I might have a save from earlier. No? Okay. So it's a new game. Click that, load into our game scene. I don't have any functionality to these yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that so we can show you whether or not the save works, and if it doesn't. So I'm going to go into my game scene now. We're going to open our game UI. And let's see, so our button resume doesn't exactly work because we just kind of have that set on our input controls. So I'm going to go ahead and do this same thing on our resume button. But we want to put it on an actual button itself this time, just for the option, right? So we're going to add an instruction here. By clicking resume, we will set time scale. Or no, we're going to stop moving. And then we're going to set our time scale to 1. And we are going to set active our pause menu to false. And what else did we have in there? So we would, if it is active. Okay, so on enable. Okay, so we don't have to stop moving, or we don't have to set the time scale on the actual button itself, because our menu does it when it's deactivated. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply set the pause menu to false with resume. Okay, button save. We will save game. And I might put some kind of indicator telling us that it had saved, but for now we'll just use save game. Button sheet, we're not going to worry about that yet, or options. Button exit, we will load scene main menu. Eventually I'm going to put, are you sure you want to exit without saving kind of message, but for now that's what we're going to do. We can go ahead and test that now. I'm going to make sure this is turned off. And it's important to remember that you don't want to turn the UI off, just the actual menu within the UI. I'm also going to steal the loading screen from this one, so I know it's the same size. But I'm going to go ahead and, actually before I even test that, I'm going to put the loading screen into our game scene as well. I don't want the loading screen a part of our HUD. I want it to be on top of everything always. Alright, so there's our load screen, and we're just going to center that out again. Alright, set that active by default. And on game load, we are also going to add a trigger on start. Set active load screen to true. We're going to run conditions as well and add the conditions. And this is also going to be the same as the main menu, where it determines whether we have a save game or not. So we're not going to do anything with it at the moment except create an empty called game reset, or new game. We're going to call it new game. We're going to slide it way up to the top here, and we're going to just set it off for now. And that new game will have a lot of stuff within it eventually, not right now, but we're going to write that condition in as of right now. So if has save, then we will destroy the new game, because it's going to be carrying a lot of functions in it, and it might slow us down by having it in the game. If has save game, destroy that. If not has save game, then we will set active new game to true. Alright, so that determines, so we can kind of test that theory of having a new save game or not by seeing what that does. Alright, so let's go to our main menu. Sorry, no, let's not go to our main menu yet. Let's add that loading screen to a couple more buttons here. So the pause menu, the button exit mainly. So we're going to set active the load screen above the load scene here. And that's pretty much it. And also, on start, so our main menu, or our load screen lasts for 2 seconds, so our game load, on start, we're going to set our player controls to off for now as well. We're going to type in input, set player input, right off the start, to non-controllable. Alright. And I'm going to keep my point and click stuff here too, just in case if it screws up. I'm going to run the conditions, and then we are going to wait 2 seconds. And then we are going to copy and paste this one and make it controllable. Alright. You won't even notice that happening in the background because the load screen's happening, so you won't even tell that you can't move. But just in case if the load screen's happening and you move off, like, you know, whatever, you don't want it to be doing that, so let's go ahead and test that. So I'm going to open my main menu scene. We're going to start. So I have a new game here. I'm going to click on new game. It's going to load into our game scene. And as you can see, we should have new game here. So that determines that we are in fact in a new game save. I'm going to go ahead and save our game. And then we are going to quit our game. Should be continue game and delete save now. Okay, little bug. That's taking a really long time, and I will show you why. So, because we opened our main menu, our game was technically on pause. Our timescale was set to 0, so on button exit, we are going to actually set our timescale to 1 again. Timescale is 1. I'm going to put my load screen first, timescale to 1, and then I'm going to wait about 0.1 seconds in between that and the load scene. And that should make that nice and fast now. So one more time, let's test that. And I did save my game, so it might be a continue and delete save here. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And I'm actually going to stop the test and then play the test again just for a clean start. Alright, so I'm going to click on our new game. We're going to save our new game, and then we're going to exit to menu. Notice how much faster that was. We're going to continue, see if our new game pops up or not, or if it's destroyed. So it's been destroyed. So now you know we're in a continued game. Go ahead and quit that. Delete. And new game. Let's see if that works again. There you have it. So now we have a fully functional game save load. We're eventually going to fill the new game up stuff, and maybe even put you in a tutorial area through this new game. So it's very important that we've done that, and it's set up good now. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this one. I don't know if there's anything else to add. I'm going to quickly just pause this for a second and just inspect anything that we might need to add before we end this video. Okay, so not really add anything, but I just want a quick explanation of where I'm headed with this and whether or not you guys want to follow along that way or not. But so on my character remember, so when I save the game, it only is going to remember the attributes of my character. By default, it has your position, like your transform, your position, rotation, and scale. If you plan on having a truly open world game, which I do not plan on doing, but if you do plan on that, you might want to add those in so you start off where you left off. And if you are doing that and you start a new game, you're going to want some kind of trigger in there so you don't start off in that same spot on a new game. That is why I put a marker on my player settings. So say if you were starting a new game, I'm going to show you a quick example actually. I'm just going to shut up and show you an example. So on our player, I'm just going to completely remove that remember and add a new one. Alright, so we're going to remember position, rotation, and scale. So if I were to save the game with my character over there, he's going to start off over there. But on new game, I'm going to write a trigger on enable. We are going to teleport our player back to the beginning marker. So new games, you will always start here. Alright, I'm going to show you an example now. So this is very important if you do plan on saving your character's position. So we have created a new game, and we're going to go ahead and walk to this corner. Alright, I'm going to save my game here. So for some reason, when you do save your game in Game Creator, it will remember whether or not, like, you know, it won't fully delete everything when you do delete your save. So it won't delete your position, it won't delete your attributes, stuff like that. So you want to do that manually through the game reset or a new game kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and exit. Delete. It probably would have been better to showcase without adding that trigger in, but alright, and see how we've started back off at the start because it's a new game. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what it does without adding that in. So I'm going to go back to my game scene and my new game. I'm going to remove this trigger. Alright, so now we have nothing saying for our player to return back here, and I'm going to show you just, you know, a little bit how broken the save is, so that's why we got to fix it manually. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to save my game up in that corner, and then delete that save, and we will start in that corner with the new save, which is shouldn't be happening. So I'm going to save there, exit, I'm going to continue, should start there. Alright, exit. We're going to delete and start a new game. And I'm still going to be there. Right? So, again, if you plan on saving your positions, you definitely want to add that trigger into new game. So you can go back and look up how to do that. But, for what I'm going for, I'm going to have my character start in the same spot every game load. Because I have an idea, I have a vision for what I want, and we will get into that later. So, for now, all I'm going to be saving is my attributes. And that is it for this video. That pretty much sums this one up. I did want to get into player UI and your stats, but that will be in the next video. Alright, good luck, hopefully it works out for you guys, and see you in the next one.